Money, I love that money. Money, 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 money. You don't really want to play. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. You don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. Money, 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 make you shut your mouth. Don't never ever talk about it if you never had the clout. You don't know what to say, stay up out of my way. Money, 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 make you shut them off. Keep playing with this goonies, boy, I'm gonna have to make the call. Stay in bounds on your pivot, boy, if you gon' ball. A lot of niggas be fake, and you really can't play. Cause we money, money, I love that money. Money, 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 money. You don't really want to play. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you been talking about. You don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. We don't really know what you always been talking about. And I don't wanna be the one who always really talk about. And you don't really want to play. You don't know what to say. Cause money, 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 money's what I'm talking about. Money, 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 make you shut your mouth. Don't never ever talk about it if you never had the clout. You don't know what to say, stay up out of my way.
What's going on, Washington football team nation? I know you're pretty much feeling like I'm feeling right now. This was a game of missed opportunities. That this game was another one like last week. That there was a flawed and failed game plan from the offensive coordinator. Why are you throwing the ball 31 times with a quarterback you just signed on Thursday? With backup offensive linemen. You just had Brandon Sheriff going out for the COVID. And you have a 10-point lead in the first quarter, and you still decide to continue to try to throw the ball, which feeds right into Philadelphia's game plan because they know they have an inexperienced quarterback. And yes, they were dropping 8 men in the box to stop the run. And I'm going to get into that because I've been having a heated debate with some fans on Twitter about talking about the passing game, let them sling the ball. Who is this dude? This dude is nobody. He barely knows the offense. He was on the Patriots practice squad all season. Granted, he was in the offense in 2018, but 3 days to learn the offense to try to remember. You don't want to put nobody in that situation to try to lead a team in a division game against a defense like the Eagles. Scott Turner did that man no favor. This is 2 weeks in a row that this man has pulled the Jay Gruden and gone totally against what got the team on the 4 game winning streak, which put them in the playoff race in the wild card position. So I don't know what he's thinking, smoking, or delusions of grandeur that he has about outthinking the game. But why go away from what works? They were leading the league in time of possession in those 4 games, averaging almost 38 minutes a game. If the opposing team's offense isn't on the field, they can't score. If you're running the ball and holding on to the ball, the defense for the other team isn't going to score because you're pounding the ball and you're moving the chains. It doesn't have to be 10-yard clips off the break. Sometimes you get the 2, 3, 4 yard gains, which open up the 8, 9, 10 yard gains, which opens up in the fourth quarter the defense getting ran over by the opposing offense. We saw it against Tampa in that last drive, 19 plays, 80 yards, and they ran the ball down their throats because they was exhausted from running, getting the ball ran on them all game. He didn't have any big runs throughout that first 3 quarters, but it's the amount of abuse that grows and it wears down the other team, especially when you have a fast defense like the Eagles, like the Cowboys. Running sideline to sideline is not going to work with them. You got to pound it and run the ball down their throat to wear them down. They're athletic, they're fast, they're quick, but they also get tired when you have a 300-pound lineman run blocking on you the whole game. And then opens up the play action game, which is a quarterback's friend, which makes the game easier for him because when you suck them up to the line expecting to run, wide open over the top. But when you go away from the run early, even when you have a lead, it defeats the whole purpose. 31 passing plays, 21 rushing plays. They had a 10-point lead for almost the whole first quarter. When Gibson had the game a few weeks ago, he had 29 carries himself. We had 21 carries as a team. They mentioned, Patterson fumbled. That's why they went away with it. You had Williams on the bench. You put him in the game. He runs for 5 yards. He doesn't touch the ball again. Gibson had an injury issue. Oh, that's why we go away from the run. That's why we started throwing because Gibson wasn't in the game. I understand it's a pass-happy league, but it's still football 101. Time of possession, control the line of scrimmage, and run the ball and play solid defense. Philadelphia ran the ball for 239 yards. Our total offense was 237 yards. Those 3-and-outs are costly when you're just slinging the ball around with an inexperienced quarterback, with a defense that's just getting players back off the COVID list that haven't been able to practice, and you're putting them in a no-win situation. But then they come out and get you 2 first-quarter turnovers. So they came to play. The offense had handcuffs, of course, with an inexperienced quarterback. But when you have 3 running backs that you can feed the ball, screen plays are just like long runs. We saw Philadelphia set up. We've seen several teams set up screens against the Washington defense. The only issue that I see is sometimes when they run the screens, when Gibson gets the ball, he isn't as patient with to set up his blocks. Sometimes he does, but sometimes he goes in a wide receiver mode, I guess, and wants to make a move in space. But it's totally different when you're running back screens and wide receiver screens. The blocking is totally different. You have linemen out there, not wide receivers and running backs coming out there and linemen pulling. So he has a little bit to learn when it comes to the screen game. You see when J.D. McClissick, who, as I mentioned in the pregame, is on the IR for the rest of the season with the neck injury. When you see him run the screen, he uses his blocks. He takes his time and he's patient. So I understand why he doesn't call the screens as much. But you got to do something to offset the aggressive nature of the other defense because they know they have an inexperienced quarterback coming in. This is the circle conversation I've been having during the whole second half with some fans that think, you got to throw the ball to open up for the run. No. Because you throw the ball and you have a quality defense or their defense is getting pushed, and you have an inexperienced quarterback, that leads to 3-and-outs. We saw it, 3 weeks ago, we forced 5 3-and-outs in a row. That allowed the team to build a lead and wear down the opposing defense because they were going on drives. They weren't scoring every time, but they were going on drives and wearing down the team. It's football 101, man. It's not rocket science. Let me get to some of the comments. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Got a little, deep into it because, like I said, I've been debating with folks during most of the game. Mark said we actually had a good chance at the end. Yeah, I mean, More victories is cool, coming back is cool, but you got to play 4 quarters. And to play 4 quarters, you have to have an effective game plan and coordinators that's going to put you in a position to win. I'm just tired of seeing the same thing over and over again with this offense. They something that works and is helping the team win, and then they totally go away from it. I.e., Jay Gruden and the 6 years of hell I went through watching him trying to be a NFL head coach slash offensive coordinator. Um, yeah, Dan, I don't know why they throwing the ball. It's 3rd and 2. Exactly. He was doing that with Taylor Heineke in there. So it doesn't even matter if it's an inexperienced quarterback or, another inexperienced quarterback. He's That's where that Jay Gruden mentality gets on my nerves. Like, well, this is worked in my system, so we're gonna do it with whatever personnel we have, even if you don't have the right personnel to call those plays. If you don't have the right personnel to call those plays, throw those plays out. Play to the strengths of the people that you have on your team and not to some imaginary offense you think you're running. That was my issue, big issue with Jay Gruden. He always wanted to upplay his offense and say it's an effective offense, but if you don't have the right talent to run your effective offense, then in essence, it's not effective. Um, let's see, Mark said, yeah, we played half a game, true that. Said Goddard killed us along with the run game in Philly. Well, Goddard, yeah, he's one of the top tight ends in the league. Jamin Davis, I saw some folks comment, he's not playing like a first rounder. I don't know how many times I have to say this. I don't know why these folks don't go research. He was a 1 year starter. He got drafted in the first round because of his athleticism and the potential he has. You have a defensive coach, ex linebacker, Super Bowl linebacker that knows how to groom and develop linebackers. It's going to take time. He's a 1 year starter, so he has a lot to learn in the NFL game along with the football game and being a linebacker, especially being a Mike linebacker, which is the middle linebacker who makes all the play calls and lines everybody up. He didn't play that in college, so therefore that's something else he has to learn, along with playing against the best athletes in the world. So, but Goddard, he had a good game. I don't have a problem with him getting what he's had 136 yards. Keep him out the end zone. I'm cool. You can do all the yards you want to get in between the 20s, but you keep him out the end zone, hold him to field goals, just like we saw New Orleans do to Tampa Bay. You're going to have a good chance to win the game. And, you know, injuries and just, different pieces. Jeremy Reeves, he was out there. I don't know if folks remember he was on the team last year. I was calling for him earlier in the season when we had all those blown coverages in the secondary. And because when he was out there last year, we didn't see those blown coverages. But when you had Landon Collins and Cam Curl out there, it was. But when you saw Reeves and Curl, they played, seamless. So it was good to see him out there. He was inches away from making a nice turnover. Just missed time to jump on that play to Goward or whatever. I don't even feel like trying to pronounce his name right because he did kill us. But like I said, he didn't get in the end zone. The run game for Philly, they were, as I mentioned in my pregame, they have the number one rushing attack in the league, averaging 160 yards a game. And then you throw Jalen Hurts in the mix with the zone read, the read option, everything. That makes that running game even more potent. And I talked about the third down conversions. They were like 11th in the league in third down conversions because, like the pro Philly commentators were saying, 3rd and 2 gives Philly offense so many different options and so many different weapons that it's hard to defend. And which is the truth. As an ex-defensive coordinator, I can attest to that it will give you headaches. But as I tweeted out, I felt like they should have started spying Hurts once they got the lead. Leave a linebacker sitting there, watching him. Not saying he's going to stop him every time he break the pocket, but just let him know that, hey, somebody's going to be there, to try to slow you down and, lay the wood till you make you fumble the ball like you did earlier. What's up, Sif? Dan said Scott Turner really needs to shape up or get out. This inconsistent play calling from him is bad as under Gruden. I totally agree. I'm starting to call him Scott Gruden for real. He might be one of the lost Gruden brothers or something. So you had those back-to-back 3 and outs on 3rd and 1. We got stuff. Yeah, that's where you have to. That's where being an offensive coordinator comes in. When you have misdirection plays, you have screens, you have the jet sweeps, you have a variety of different things you can do to use the defensive aggressive nature against them. They want to peel their ears back and go at the quarterback. Use that against them. But like I said, we had an inexperienced quarterback when he called, like we talked about a few weeks ago with Taylor Heineke, as they spoke about on the broadcast. When they did the zone read, he still faked like he had the ball, or he faked like, boom, 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 to make the defense think to still sell the play. The kid tonight had the ball off. Back in was looking like, oh, do we got it? He just standing there with his hands to his side. So it's little nuances like that that helps the offense when it makes the defense think. That's the worst thing you want for a defense. A defense thinking and trying to figure out what's going on. You want them to do the pre-read snap, know what's the play that's coming, diagnose it, and attack. Once they have to think, oh, what's going on? Boom, boom, where's the ball? Did he keep it? Did he, just like we saw last week with the inexperienced defensive ends for our team, they were crashing down on the zone read, and the quarterback was wide open a few times. So little nuances like that lead to that. Let's see. Yeah, that was James. That was a offsides on the defense on that play that at 3rd and 2, that should have been a first down, and they didn't get the first. But yeah, there's nothing really you can do, man. Yeah, it was a good drive to cut it to 3 mark, but too little, too late, man. Should have been doing more to help the quarterback get comfortable, and have that comfort level late in the game, and not have to try to pull late last minute drive out his ass to win the game. Jerry says he'll be getting new coaches on our DC and OC are losing games for sure. If Ron don't replace them, then he must go too. I mean, you can't really put it on the coordinators. For one, 7 of the assistants were out for COVID, so they were having the backup coaches also, which is crazy. But we saw in the first half of the season some of the issues that were going on, and then we saw after the bye week the adjustments to the tweaks and to the personnel, to the game plans. So I mean, in the recent last 2 weeks, last week was basically the inexperience of the defensive line, and it got taken advantage of by the Cowboys, along with the ineffective game plan, which played right into the Cowboys' hands, with Scott Turner deciding to come out being pass happy. So I mean, Turner's young. That's why I'm not really ready to throw in the towel on him. And he has potential. We saw what he did with Christian McCaffrey. That man had 1,000 rushing yards and 1,000 receiving yards in the season. Antonio Gibson can be that same dude, but they're both developing at the same time. Gibson is developing being an NFL running back as opposed to being a wide receiver in college, and Scott Turner is now learning how to be an offensive coordinator instead of just a play caller. When he was down in Carolina, he wasn't officially the offensive coordinator until later on that he took over the duties. But as in, this is his thing. This is his staff. This is his game plan. This is all on him. And he still has some growing to do and developing, which, like I said, players and coaches have to develop. Some of them do it at a different pace. Some of them do. Some of them don't. I.e., Jay Gruden, who is no longer in the NFL as any type of coach in any type of capacity for any team that I know of. And I love that neither one of the Gruden brothers are in, because both of them are overrated in my opinion. But as I said, that's my opinion. Let's see what else we got. Drake said, "How can these coaches beat the Wops with 13 over Sims in the red zone?" With Humphrey, because Humphreys is a better slot receiver. Sims is on the outside mostly with the size, and Sims is in a slot, which is his strength, and he's like, well, especially with Logan Thomas being out, he's like a safety blanket for the quarterback. He's right there over the middle. That's his check down. As long as they're on the same page, if they get pressure or he's the hot read, he can get the ball off to him. Sims is definitely a red zone threat, but if you watch the show on Mondays, you've heard me and Dujanay have a debate about Sims. He'll make the tough catch, but the easy ones, they hit him in his hands, and you're like, what in the hell? We sort of play he made last week, and then he'll turn around and have a 5-yard pass in the flat for a touchdown, and hit him right in his hands, and he'll drop it. So then plus they definitely have more confidence in Humphreys with his his experience, and like I said, his great play in the slot. But yeah, it's definitely a frustrating loss. Drops the team to 6-8. They were already, as I mentioned in the pregame, they were in the fifth spot for the wild card. There's gonna be three spots. Now this, I haven't even looked to see where it dropped to. That's why I didn't even post the updated standings. I didn't even feel like looking at it because I knew I wasn't gonna like them. But I'm gonna get ready to get to some of the stats. Let me set this up, cue this up for later on. I'll get this right about it. That's what I say. That's what I'm doing everything by yourself. All right. Look at some of these upside down stats for a team with a quarterback that was on somebody else's team 4 days ago. I'm still sharing the feed to some different groups, so bear with me. Might get some folks chiming in later on. As I said, Washington drops to 6-8. Philly goes to 7-7. 27-17 loss. Garrett Gilbert, who exactly? It went 20 for 31, 194 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, 81.9 quarterback rating. Jalen Hurts, 20 for 26, 296 yards, one touchdown, one interception, 110.4 quarterback rating. Antonio Gibson, 15 carries, 26 yards, 1.7 yard average, and one touchdown. Miles Sanders, 18 carries, 131 yards, 7.3 yard average, no touchdowns. Terry McLaurin, 2 catches, 51 yards, 25.5 yard average, no touchdowns. And Dallas Goddard, 9 catches, 135 yards, 19.3 yard average, no touchdowns. Most important team stats, in my opinion. First downs, Washington only had 14. Philly had 23. Third down conversions, Washington was 6 for 13. Philly was 7 for 13. Rushing the ball, this is where it all came down right here. Washington, 63 yards. Philadelphia, 238. That hurts. I mean, Jalen Hurts definitely he's going to be a problem in the future. And even when it looked like they had him contained, they were talking about it on the Pro Eagles broadcast. He finds the seams. He finds a way to get in the open space, and yeah, he's going to be a problem going forward. I said I wanted him to beat us with his arm. He beat us with his arm and his legs. I didn't even see how many rushing yards he had, but when you can't contain the quarterback, keep him in the pocket, and he's allowed to get outside the pocket, it wreaks havoc on the defense, the defensive backs, because then that's when all the wide receivers break off their routes, which means the cornerbacks and the defensive backs have to, stay on their man if they're running the zone, cover their zone, and it just causes havoc. And yeah, he definitely is going to be a problem. Passing the ball, Washington 174 yards, Philly 281. Total yards, as I mentioned, Washington 237, Philly 519 yards. That's horrible. Time of possession. This is why you run the ball. 24 minutes and 43 seconds for Washington, 35 minutes and 17 seconds for Philly. Now, when they won the 4-game winning streak, those numbers were reversed. I'm just saying. A lot of folks want to complain about running the ball too much. It's a passing league, yada, 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 yada. But when they were running the ball, they were winning. The last 2 weeks, we've thrown the ball more than we ran the ball, and it's been 2 losses. In those 4 games, 3 out of 4 of those games, they were more rush attempts than pass attempts. Simple as that. Yeah, Mark. 500 yards, man. 500 yards. Mark says bring Billin back since while William Jackson got hurt. I don't think anybody's going to be touching Rashard Breeland anytime soon. From what I heard, the exchange in the locker room. Yeah, It's no coming back from that from any team in the NFL. I don't know if anybody's gonna touch him again, or at least this season. Maybe somebody take a chance on him next year. But yeah, I don't know about bringing Breland back. I was a Breland fan. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, some things you can't come back from. Let's see what else we got here. Let me go check my other feeds and see what we got going on. I've just been staying on the Facebook feed. I don't mean to be, rude to my other streams that I got going. Check my YouTube feed. See if we got any comments on that. And as always, you can check out any of this content on sportsothp.com. All of our shows, archive, Facebook Live streams, everything, everything that we bring up on the show, everything that I tweet out, highlight videos, everything. It'll be on the website, plus our podcast partners and everyone that rolls with us, our apparel line. Fresh new gear we just got in. I got some new hats I was supposed to bring out, but I forgot to. But yeah, this is just an ugly 2 weeks of divisional football for the Washington football team. We talked about at the beginning of the season them trying to find an identity for themselves and have staple plays that they use like we haven't even seen. We talked about it a few weeks ago on the winning streak, the wide receiver drag route. We haven't seen that in a couple of weeks. The play was almost guaranteed first down. He goes away from what works, trying to experiment or outthink the game. And he has to shake that shit off because it's going to cost the team in the long run. You don't have it's frustrating to have that happen when you, like I say, you see the momentum building in 4 games and then you just totally go away from what works. Let me see. Jerry says, how can you not get your best wide receiver to the game early by setting up plays for him? But Scott can't adjust his offense to fit some of the players or strengths. Just your opinion. I mean, that's valid on some points, but you got to remember, Terry's always going to be lined up against the best cornerback on the other side. Darius Slade, when they played his rookie year, Terry's rookie year in Detroit, he said that, Terry was one of the top wide receivers that he ever had to guard. So Darius Slade is one of the top cornerbacks in the league. So he only had 2 catches, 51 yards, but Slade, and with no other true, real threats on the field, especially with Logan Thomas being out, now they're back to doubling Terry. And until someone else steps up, which we were hoping Diami Brown or Curtis Samuel will be able to do that to take the pressure and the double team off of him. Now that, you're down Logan Thomas, Samuel's on, wasn't playing, and Diami Brown hasn't developed as quickly as I was hoping he would, you're getting double covered. So it's harder to do that. And then when you have an inexperienced quarterback that's, trying to read the NFL defense that, is trying to deceive them, trick them, make them throwing an interception or throwing a double coverage or whatever. Yeah, sometimes you just got to hit. It was a couple of times he could have hit the underneath man and for a first down or at least to, move the chains. 5 yards, 6 yards. Those gains are not bad. It doesn't always have to be a first down on every play you go out there. Sometimes you just gotta, chip away at it. You gotta work the way down the field. It's not always gonna be boom, an explosive play, the crowd's going wild. Sometimes you gotta, 2-3 yards in the cloud of smoke. Line up again, do it again. That's football. That's the way you win in football. It's almost 11 o'clock, so I think I'm about to get ready to get out of here. Let me try to check the other feeds real quick. So I got folks chiming in. Just inbox me on Twitter and Free Devo. I'll read that later. Okay, it's like a business talk. All right, never know. But all right, I appreciate y'all checking me out as always. Y'all can be watching the Postgame that I'm looking at right now, just seeing what they're talking about. But as always, check us out every Monday night. Sports on the Hill Podcast, True Radio Network, starting Monday nights, 9 o'clock. We took off yesterday for the holiday. folks getting some time to spend time with their family. I was busy at work and had some other stuff going on. So we should be back on Monday coming up. We'll recap the past week for DC sports. Hopefully we'll be talking about a victory Monday with Washington finding a way to beat the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football. And we'll, as always, recap the Capitals and the Wizards and their week that was, and look at the upcoming schedule. Make sure you check us out on Sundays at the Bar Radio, 6 o'clock, bringing you the best entertainment news, current events, politics, sports, independent music, and independent music videos. Can't talk all up say. And, just a good time. Check us out, streaming live, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and a couple of other streams that I forgot. But we're looking to make some moves, make some things happen. So, as always, appreciate your support. CP3 live from the lab. And I got in with some Renegade, as always. But make sure you check us out. DC Sports without the politics. It's not just a catchphrase. It's not just a motto. It's what we do. And I'm out.
I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and give up this match. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, sweat on my ass. Count up on a move, that's a digital dash. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up this match. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, sweat on my ass. Count up on a move, that's a digital dash. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. But I dish it like I give it and go. Counting money while I chill at the stove. How I deliver, I've been at the dough. It's up to you how business will go. That 36 I get for the low. Count it up, no feelings will show. Spend so much, gotta get it some more. When they hands out, I just give them a no. How they always talking about me, but a nigga stand out. Watch out how you really walk up to me, that's a man down. All these niggas got these drums with them like a band now. I've been doing what I want, that's what you can't doubt. I've been just feeling myself. Do I just really need help? I got my weight up. I be just telling myself I got love for all of my dogs. I take a pay cut. Some niggas really ride. Some niggas really slide. So go say a prayer. We ain't never got a slap 5. Nigga, just pay your tithes and call me the mayor. I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up this man. She all in her feelings. She giving me sex. I got a slack, sweat on my ass. Count up on a move, that's a digital dash. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past. I gotta wake up and go get the bread. I gotta go ahead and clip up this man. She all in her feelings, she giving me sex. I got a slack, sweat on my ass. Count up on a move, that's a digital dash. They been just losing, I'm living these fads. Never go broke cause I got me a stash. I could never ever live in the past.
What's up? What's up, man?
Seriously? I've been calling your phone all day.
Listen. I'm in the booth. I'm gonna call you back as soon as I'm done. Give me like 10 minutes.
What do you mean you're gonna call me back? Like, I've been calling you all day. It's been hours. Like, what are you doing?
I know it's your birthday. My apologies. Give me 10 minutes, babe. I'm gonna call you right back.
No, you with them girls, aren't you? I know you're with them girls.
Ain't no damn girls in here.
So let me see then.
You gonna do that? You gonna do that to me in front of Chill?
Smooth B in the fellas.
You got me waiting on my birthday, so let me see.
Yeah, no problem. Fellas, say hello.
Hello.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, uh-huh.
We working. That's hard though.
Hey, listen. Hey, give me an hour. I'm gonna phone you real quick. Calm down. Relax.
Hurry up.